Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Harry Maguire. 8 points off Manchester City, league title 21 in year 21, somebody. Manchester United 3, Burnley 1, and as we know, guys, with Manchester United, they'll always make it hard, but we got through it. We're closing the gap to Manchester City, albeit, okay, 8 points is a bit of a distance, but I don't think Manchester City are going to win all their games. If you're asking me, I don't think they're going to win all their games. Yes, they need the 3 wins and a draw to win the title. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't be like that. Subscribe right now so you can see more content of this quality. Let's go. But I think that we can make it hard for them, and that's all I'm asking for. Let's not make it easy for Manchester City. Let's apply some pressure, and we're certainly doing it. This is United's 5th win on the bounce, and that is an achievement, guys. And I think we have something like 20-something games unbeaten. That is a fantastic run. We cannot deny that there is progress in that respect. Yes, we can talk about we still don't have a style of play. We still struggle when the ball is at our feet. But we cannot deny that we are doing okay in the league. We are doing okay. Ideally, we would want to be closer to Manchester City because the caliber of players that we have, Manchester City don't have much better players than ours. They don't. Their coaching is better than ours, much better than ours, but their players, man for man, is not much better than ours. If you're asking me, guys, let's put out Manchester City's strongest starting 11 and let's put our strongest starting 11. Let's start at the back. Who will I take? Will I take Dean Henderson or their keeper? Edison, I'll take Edison. I'll take their backline, their back four, I'll take their backline over United. Their midfield over United, I'm sorry, I'm taking United. There's no way I'm choosing Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan over Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. Don't get me wrong, Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne are world class, but Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba certainly is world class. Bruno Fernandes maybe not as world class, but Bruno gives you something that no other midfielder can give you, and that's his goal ratio, and that's his ability to decide a game just like that. So I will take our midfield, and in attack, I think we will all take United's attack. So I definitely think that, man for man, we should be closer to Manchester City, and that's all I'm asking for United right now. Let's close that gap. Yes, we're 8 points. Let's take that 8 points and make it 5 points, and let's go on like that. So it gives us a springboard for next season that we can, we are confident going into next season that we were just off. Maybe we can say, we were just off the top, maybe by 3 points or by 4 points, and we know we're going into next season. We know where we can claw those points back. So I'm satisfied with the result, guys. I'm happy with the results, and I'm satisfied with the performance. The performance weren't very good, as we know United. We labored to that performance. We labored to the performance. The first goal that United scored was outstanding. Outstanding first goal. I loved every bit of that first goal. Marcus Rashford. Let's talk about Rashford for that first goal, and then we'll talk about his whole game. Rashford played the most important role in that first goal. The way he took the ball and beat that defender, I think he put the ball through the defender's legs. That's what I want to see of Marcus Rashford. Done that world class. Went past the defender like he weren't there. And as a winger, guys, your bread and butter is to face your fullback up and beat your fullback. That's what we want to see from wingers, is you stand your fullback up and beat your fullback. Beat your fullback, and Rashford done that for that goal superbly. He went for he beat the defender, he played the pass. Bruno Fernandes, his role in that goal. I'm sorry, but as we said with Donny, when Donny dummied the ball in Europa, we said that should count as an assist. That has to count for an assist if you're asking me. I know it's not an assist, but that for me has to count for an assist, because do you know how much football IQ it takes to dummy the ball in the box, guys? Do you know how much IQ it takes? There's very few teams that play that type of football where they dummy the ball. Very few teams. But the teams that do it the most is Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Manchester City. Those teams dummy the ball the most. Every game, you will see them dumming the ball, especially those Spanish teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, because it takes a certain amount of football IQ to know who's around you, where they are, and for you, especially in the box. Look here, in the middle of the field, we see teams dumming the ball. You can do it in the middle of the field, but to do it in the box, do you know how much composure that takes? Do you know how much spatial awareness that takes? Do you know how much football IQ that takes? It's because you have to know that there's a player behind you. You have to know that there's no opposition player near that player. So when you dummy that ball, you need to know that, okay, I'm dummying this ball and it's going to my player. There's no chance of the opposition getting the ball. No chance. Because when you do it in the box, and if it doesn't come off, everybody's going to look at you like, Bruno, why didn't you get the ball and shoot it? How can you dummy in the box? So it takes a lot of football IQ for your spatial awareness to know that there's no opposition around you and your partner, and to identify that if I'm dummying this ball, it is certainly going to my partner. So Bruno Fernandes, for me, guys, Bruno has football IQ. Bruno has football IQ. What Bruno doesn't have is the ability to dictate a game. He needs to learn that. He needs to be more disciplined in his passing because he gives the ball away way too much. And as a number 10, you need to be the best player on the ball. You need to be the best player on the ball. As a number 10, you need to run games. From minute 1 to minute 90, you need to run that game. Kevin De Bruyne is a perfect example. He runs games for Manchester City. Minute 1 to minute 90, each and every game, Kevin is running the game. So Bruno has to learn that aspect of being a number 10. A number 10, you are the most creative player in the team. And some matches, we don't see that ability from Bruno. But I will never deny, and I will never say Bruno does not have football IQ. He has football IQ. We've seen Bruno dummy the ball before. Remember his goal, I think it was against Newcastle, where he dummied the ball outside the box. He dummied the ball came back to him, he chipped the keeper. But he has that ability, the football IQ to dummy a ball. So I will always say Bruno has football IQ. It's just that there's other areas where he can improve in, and massively. But that's with each and every player. And the problem is at United is that, why I will always say this, guys, we need a system. The manager has to implement a system, because a system hides your players' weaknesses and it magnifies their strengths. Look at Raheem Sterling. He's having a tough time right now, but look at Raheem Sterling for the past couple seasons. He's been outstanding, and he's been one of the best players in the Premier League for the past couple seasons, primarily because of the system of Manchester City. Now we are really seeing Raheem Sterling's ability. That boy is not a very good player. His technical ability is extremely low. His football IQ is not high. He makes the wrong decisions all the time. But because of Pep Guardiola's system, it was hiding Raheem Sterling's weaknesses. Raheem Sterling was scoring a bunch of tap-ins, and everybody was saying, oh, Raheem Sterling's this world-class player. He's a super player. No, it wasn't. It's just that Pep Guardiola's system was so good that it was hiding his players' weaknesses and magnifying their strengths. Another example is Liverpool. Liverpool, in the past years when they've been successful, that club system literally hid their players' weaknesses. Their midfielders cannot create at all. None of their midfielders can create a goal. None of their midfielders has the final pass for an assist. But club system took the pressure off the midfielders, so that the midfielders did not need to create opportunities. The midfielders did not need to assist. And then you look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. That boy is outstanding going forward, but he's so bad in defending. But Jurgen Klopp's system literally hid his weakness. Where teams do not often attack him. Teams cannot attack him one-on-one because Liverpool are always on the ball. So that's what I'm saying. Our system, guys, will always hide a player's weakness. And that's what our manager needs to implement. He has to implement a system. So you have the likes of Bruno and Rashford, where we know their weaknesses, and their weaknesses are apparent, but it won't be so exposed because of the system. So Bruno, for that dummy, that was outstanding. And then it goes to Mason Greenwood. And what I like about Greenwood right now is he's getting back his goal instinct. He's getting back that X factor. That X factor that Greenwood got is his shooting. Greenwood, from last season, was one of the best shooters in Europe. And right now, he's gaining that back. You saw with that shot, guys. He's gaining it back. At the beginning of the season, he was taking how many shots? And it literally weren't going on target. He wasn't scoring from the shots. But right now, the tail end of the season, he's finishing the season off well. He's regaining his X factor, which is shooting. And for that first goal, outstanding. Got it on his left foot, bang. Greenwood is two-footed, but we can see from open play, he prefers to shoot with his left foot. Outstanding. He's getting back that X factor. Outstanding. And if he maintains that X factor, he can become a world-class player and a very dangerous player. With his age and the way his composure in front of goal and his age makes for a fantastic player. He just needs to keep this up. And then we go and we concede. And you have to look at Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is so big. He's so big, yet he gets bullied. And I've seen Harry Maguire get bullied a few times, guys. A few times. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it to all you guys. And I say this with full understanding. And I say this with having no regrets after this. Harry Maguire is one of the worst signings we have made. When you judge a signing based on the transfer fee and his ability. Those two things need to speak to one another. They have to speak to one another. And in an ideal transfer, the very good transfers, the transfer fee will be low, but his ability will be higher than a transfer fee. You look at a player like Ruben Diaz. City paid 60-something million for him. His ability is way more than 60-something million. That's a good transfer. And there's many transfers like that. Even Bruno, we paid 40-something million for Bruno. Bruno's probably a 90 million player. He's probably a 80 million, about an 80 million player. But we paid 40 million. So that was a good transfer. Now when you get to Harry Maguire, we paid 80 million for Harry. And Harry's probably a 40 million defender. So for me, as I'm saying, he's one of the worst transfers. Because how you judge a transfer is the transfer fee and his ability. They need to speak to one another. And in Harry Maguire's case, they are not speaking to one another. It's one of the worst deals that we have done. I've never seen a defender so big like Harry and get bullied. How did he get bullied for that first goal? I don't know. And this is literally Harry Maguire every second, third game. He's always making an error. He's always making a mistake. He's always being questioned. And this is an 80 million defender, guys. Manchester City paid 60-something million for Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz came and transformed their defense. Liverpool paid 75 million for Van Dijk. Van Dijk came and transformed their defense. We paid 80 million, a world record fee for Harry Maguire. And he's not transformed us. We still got questions, guys. We still got questions. So, as I'm saying, one of the worst transfers we have made is Harry Maguire. But don't expect to hear this from the media. Because remember, the media are British media. So they are not going to talk about their fellow countrymen. They will never do that. But you come onto platforms like this on YouTube and you will get the truth. So we conceded that goal. And then Mason Greenwood's second goal, lucky deflection, it is good play from the guys. Paul Pogba passed the ball to Greenwood. But Greenwood had to initiate that mistake. He had to initiate that deflection. And one thing about Greenwood is, I've criticized him in the past, is that whenever he gets the ball, he wants to shoot. He only wants to shoot. But you must understand, guys, and I'm also understanding, is that he's a striker. And strikers only got eyes for the net. They don't have eyes for anything else but the back of the net. And Greenwood is hungry for goals. Whereas you look at a player like Rashford and Martial, they want to do everything else. They maybe want to dribble. Rashford sometimes wants to play those long diagonal passes. Greenwood is not about that. When Greenwood gets the ball, it's literally get the ball, push the ball out and hit that ball. And his striking is so well. It's so good. So, as I'm saying, he had to initiate that deflection. If he didn't shoot, there was not going to be a deflection. There was not going to be a goal. So, credit for Mason Greenwood. It is a huge deflection. His initial shots probably weren't going in. But credit to him for that second goal. And overall, it was a good performance from Greenwood. And then the third goal just killed everything. Counter-attacking goal. United, we are at our best when we counter-attack. You can clearly see that our style of play is counter-attacking. That's our style of play, because the minute we have space to run into, we are the best team in the world. We are the best team in the world in running into space and counter-attacking. And that third goal was clinical. That third goal was beautiful. Donny van der Beek with the assist. It was just magnificent. And then obviously Edison Cavani, he is a proper number 9. And Bruno Fernandes said it in his presser after the Granada game in midweek. He said that Edison Cavani is a proper number 9. And if you read into that, what he's saying is that we don't have a proper number 9 at the club as yet. You can say maybe Mason Greenwood, he's too young right now. But Anthony Martial is not a proper number 9. I don't care what anyone says. He's not a proper box number 9. Anthony Martial 1 minute wants to play on the left wing, and he looks so good on the left wing. But guys, he's not a proper out-and-out number 9. You look at proper number 9s, you're looking at Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you're looking at Cavani, you're looking at Lewandowski, you're looking at Suarez, you're looking at Aguero. These are proper number 9s that can only play in the number 9 position, and their movements in and around the box makes them world-class. Martial's movements in the box is not good. Let's be honest, it's not good. Ollie's tried and come and help, but for that, guys, you have to have instinct. It's not just learning, it's instinct. You need to know where to be, right place, right time, and that takes instinct. And unfortunately, Martial doesn't have that. This is not me saying Martial's a bad player. I'm not saying that. Martial's a very, very, very good player, and he's got an X factor to him. But I'm just saying he's not that proper number 9. He's not that out-and-out number 9. Box striker like Lukaku, like Kane. He's not that. That we just have to understand. He's not that. So Edison Cavani got his goal, and a tap-in goal, but you have to be there. And that, what I will say also, guys, Edison Cavani has been a good signing for United. There's no one that can speak against that. He has been a very good signing for United. United are in talks to give him a contract extension of an extra year, but he wants to apparently go back to South America. You can't hit against that. You know, he's quite an age. He's 34, I think 35, 34, around there. So he wants to go back to his homeland. You have to grant his wish. You have to allow the player to do that. He's at the twilight of his career. He wants to spend his last years in his home country. So let's give him that, guys. But we have to go out and look. I generally think there's other positions that we need to focus on other than the striker. Even though I said Martial's not an out-and-out number 9, he can do the role. He can play in the position and do a good job at that. Yes, he's not doing that. He's not playing the number 9 position to a world-class standard. And there's no one that can deny that. But he can do it to a very good standard. And provided there's service around him, you know, as I said, if there's a system, it will hide his weaknesses. So I definitely think going into next season, we've got other priority areas that we need to sort out, like the centre-back issue, like a right winger, and like a CDM, before we go to the striker issue. That's just me. You may disagree, but that's just me. Now let's talk about the performances of the individual players. Marcus Rashford. Let's start off with Marcus Rashford. This is probably Rashford's best performance that I've seen in months. And I'm going to be honest with you. Rashford has scored goals. But I will always tell you guys, don't let goals mask a performance. A player can be performing so bad, but he can score a goal and all of a sudden people forget the performance. That's not me. I look at your whole performance. And that's why I get on Bruno Fernandes' back. It's because Bruno will score a goal, he'll score a penalty, but he'll stink the match out. He'll stink the game out, misplacing passes every second time he gets the ball. So he has to improve in that area, but this was not Marcus Rashford right now today. Rashford performed so well. He was our best player on that pitch. The way he was performing, he's dribbling, you saw he done that flip-flap skill. The defender literally left the defender standing. And that's not an easy skill to do, guys. Not just any player can do that skill and pull it off. But Rashford, he loves that skill. And he done it, and he had the defenders on toast. And that was an excellent performance from Marcus Rashford. I haven't seen him perform like this in a while. And you know why he performed like this, guys? Because he got a rest midweek. And that's all I ask from Rashford. I said it on my previous videos. I said, Ollie, please give this boy a rest. He's clearly not 100% match fit. He's clearly still carrying a small niggle. Even in this game, he was carrying a small niggle. There were times I saw Rashford limping. He's clearly not 100% match fit. That's why Ollie took him off on 80 minutes. He's still carrying a bit of an injury. But when you give him a rest, at least he can play better the next game. That's all I'm asking. And luckily now, we play our next game next weekend. So at least we'll still have a better and a fresher Rashford. Although he's not 100% fit, and although he's still carrying a niggle, but he will always give his all for the team. And that's one thing you can't speak against Rashford. There are certain other players in our team maybe that don't give their everything. I'm not naming names, but I'm just saying that with Marcus Rashford, he'll give his everything. And sometimes it's to his own detriment because he plays with an injury. And in the long-term future, it will affect him when he's about 28, 29. it will affect him. He needs to manage his body better, and the manager also needs to manage him better. However, world-class performance for me from Rashford. Top class performance. Mason Greenwood as well. Very good performance from Mason Greenwood. And I thought those were the only two really outstanding players. The change that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made, let me speak about that. I will never understand why this manager plays with two holding midfielders against small teams like Burnley. I will never understand that. I can understand if we play in Liverpool, if we play in Manchester City, if we play in Chelsea, to even an extent if we play in Tottenham and maybe Arsenal, maybe. I can understand playing against these teams with two holding midfielders. I can understand it. I cannot understand playing with two holding midfielders against the lesser teams in this league. I cannot understand it. For me, that's negative. That's a negative mentality. That's a negative tactic that this manager needs to get rid of, but clearly he won't get rid of. Because I heard him in a press conference a couple of months ago saying that the reason he plays with two holding midfielders is because it's a good base to attack from. So he is meaning that when you have two holding midfielders, it doesn't matter that if you lose the ball, you've still got two players screening the back four, so you're not susceptible to counterattacks. That's literally what it means. He's more focused on defending than attacking. He doesn't commit numbers forward, and that's my criticism of him. People saw the change that he made at halftime, which in and of itself, just that change was a good change, positive change, but it absolutely meant nothing because he dropped Paul back in the double pivot. He dropped Paul back in as a CDM, so it literally made no difference. Whether it's Paul playing in the CDM or Fred playing in the CDM, you're still playing two holding midfielders, and it's something we do not want to see. But we will continue seeing this under this manager. Some people say the reason he plays two holding midfielders is because he doesn't trust the centre-backs. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. He plays two holding midfielders because he's not an attacking manager. He's not a positive manager. He's more worried about defending than attacking. But be it as it may, guys, we got the victory. And my man of the match is, it has to be Mason Greenwood because you got both goals. But just on pure performance, I have to give it to Rashford. I think Rashford, the contribution and the performance that he gave today was outstanding. The best performance that I've seen from him of late. The best performance that I've seen of him of late. So we've got Leeds next week. I do think we'll beat Leeds because Leeds play an expansive game. Leeds don't respect their opponents. They come out and they all guns blazing. And I think that we will put Leeds to the sword. So guys, 8 points behind Manchester City. What do you all think? Do you all think we can do it? Do you all think that we can chase Manchester City down and give them a title challenge? Hit the comments and let me know what you all think. I do think that at the end of the season, I think Manchester City are still favourites and they still will win the title. But I do think that we will be probably about 4 points off Manchester City. You let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all.